Welcome to day 6 of National Podcast Post Month here on the Odd Dad Out podcast, where normal is not my specialty and I am going to ramble and rant and bitch about whatever the hell I feel like because it's my show, damn it. Yeah. And that's the end of the music. If I get through this month, I will so greatly appreciate the just having all of my stuff on my computer and doing it the old-fashioned way. And here, pulling back the curtain, couple of things. One, if you've noticed a drastic change in my sound quality from day to day, it's because I was experimenting a lot with, I have multiple microphones and I was changing microphones frequently. And there were some days where I was using one microphone that has a whole, I have one microphone that is, I use it for recording my voiceovers and lines and things, and I'm still a part in season 6 of The Rise of King Silas, so I've actually been recording my lines for that show. And I've been using that mic some days. Other days I've been using what is the same type of microphone I normally use for the show that I have in my office studio and connected, permanently affixed to my desk and all that I've been using for years. Well, I have 2 of those. My other one I actually had in the closet studio that I've been recording in, but I almost never used that microphone. So it was almost new. So I was alternating between these 2 mics, and some days I was hand holding my one of the mics, and then I rigged up a system because my mic stand that I have in there is too short, basically. So I had it hanging off of a hanger on it was a whole rig but I was experimenting from day to day to figure things out. And I realized on the days I was using my voiceover mic, I sounded awful for lots of reasons. That basically amounts to the not editing and not doing any post-processing or vocal cleanup or any of that, or the fact that 9 times out of 10, I think 5 days out of 6 so far, I have not had my dentures in while I'm recording these because I'm lazy, because it's either late or early. Today being one of those days. Nevertheless, today, once again experimenting with sound, I'm actually in my office. And you're like, well, if I'm in my office, why is it that I am still recording into my phone the same system I've been using? It's easier. That's really it. I plugged my standard computer rig that I normally use. I just took that microphone and plugged it into the system I've been using, because the system I'm using right now is faster for my turnaround. Because if I'm sitting here staring at my computer like I normally do, I will be very strongly compelled to keep talking. Essentially, I will probably keep going and keep going and keep going. What's really funny that I think about right now is the program I'm recording to on my phone I actually have for my computer. Yeah, I actually have that program on my computer. And in theory, I could be doing this essentially the same way from my computer, but I don't trust me to do it that way. I'm appreciating right now doing this from my phone, with the complicated system I have, doing this from my phone. Now, I'm going to say this whole talk about the behind the scenes of stuff, not what today's for. I just had to get through it just because I had noticed when I was listening back, because I do actually listen to these every day. I don't let them build up, because if I let them build up, then I'll just have to be listening to myself forever. Not that I'm not expecting you to do that, because you're listening to all of these every day, right? Right? Anyway, I just had to get all that out. And now I've basically done an entire daily show's worth. But I don't care. I'm going to get onto the subject at hand because there was something because I already made the art and I already have the blog post up. So damn it, I'm going to talk about it. If you don't know, my day job, or say day job, okay, again, sidebar, because I haven't already done that enough. I work overnights. So it's always weird for me to refer to it as my day job. But that is what it is. I work overnight. My regular job, working overnight, I'm a cleaner. I'm a carpet cleaner, commercial. Why did I say that so weird? I'm a commercial carpet cleaner, floor cleaner. Well, our company has a janitorial division. So part of my job on Saturdays, specifically Saturdays, sometimes it's other like, hey, we need somebody to go cover at this building. Hey, can you go? And I'm working janitorial that night instead of doing floors. But part of my regular job, my Saturday work, is I'm actually the day janitor for one of our buildings. And, it's simple work. There's like 5 people in that building on the weekend, but because there's somebody there on the weekend, they want us to still come in, clean the bathrooms, clean up the break room, stuff like that. Real simple. Take out the trash, empty the ashtrays outside, again, clean the bathrooms, clean the break room. Real simple. Takes me like an hour or two if there's, if I'm getting really finicky, I'm getting like in there with a stainless steel polish and, polishing the water fountains and things, getting really detailed. If I really get in there, I can milk it for 2 hours, but I don't need to at all to do the work. Restock stuff, clean the basic stuffs, simple. Janitorial work isn't all that complicated. So it's my regular Saturday job. Yesterday, we had actual regular work. 9 times out of 10, my Saturdays basically consist of doing my little janitorial gig and then maybe 1 or 2 small other jobs. Not a lot of work on Saturdays. This Saturday, we're in the middle of a big wall-to-wall project cleaning all the carpet in an office building. And it's like a giant call center, huge building. We've been in there 4 days this week, and we're, cruising there 6 to 8 hours a night, 4 days now. Well, yesterday I was in there, and we were in there for about 6.5 hours, which is way more time than I usually work on Saturday. But I still got to go do my janitorial work over at that other building. Okay, well, that's on the way back to the office. We get back there. I get a text from my boss during the day. Hey, did they tell you about the boxes? I'm like, no, what about the boxes? And he sends me a picture. It says, hey, somebody apparently dumped a bunch of boxes in the parking lot over there, and they want us to pick them up. And I'm like, okay. And it just sends a picture. It looks like just a bunch of boxes piled up, like somebody just dumped it, whatever. And it's kind of weird. But I'm like, okay, whatever, no big deal. It's like, yeah, I'll go over there, flatten out the boxes, stick them in the recycled dumpster or whatever. Well, this is in the middle of the afternoon, and we're like, okay, yeah, we'll get over there and do this. Well, we didn't get over there until about 8:30 at night, just because that's how long our day ran. Well, we get there and start looking at the boxes and realizing these aren't empty boxes. They are all completely packed with trash. And I say trash, but it's like trash and house debris and construction debris and whatever the hell you're cleaning out your garage debris. And some of them were filled with like broken wooden slats with massive nails in them. And we're like, what the hell is all this from? I'm expecting I'm going to come in and flatten out some boxes and call my boss. And I'm like, hey, what are we supposed to do? Because, I was expecting, flatten out some boxes that I know I can fit into the dumpsters here. But I've got like 15, 18 boxes here. Like, I don't know if you're familiar, but with all those newfangled foam mattresses, the mattress in a box and it comes all vacuum sealed and everything. It was about 18 of those boxes I don't even remember the brand, but they were like all those type of mattress boxes, all packed completely solid, some with other boxes, some with like household trash. There was a bag that I know, because I'm familiar with the smell, was full of dirty diapers. Another box, again, there were a couple of boxes full of wood slats and, heavy. Well, like, I got a lot of really heavy, packed full of stuff boxes. And we're like, what are we supposed to do with this? Because we don't have space in those dumpsters for this stuff. And he even suggested that we go grab one of the pickup trucks from the office, which wasn't actually that far away, and load everything up into the back of one of those trucks and bring it and throw it in our dumpster at the office. I'm like, I could fit all of 4 of these in there, and I'm not going to be able to get much in there. These things are huge and they're packed. Well, they're also doing some renovation on one of the buildings. The office we're cleaning right now, actually, they're expanding it into a neighboring suite. And so they're doing a lot of construction. There's a big, one of those big construction dumpsters. Not the kinds that you see where it's just kind of a big industrial dumpster. It's like, no, this is like one of those, they're tearing down a building dumpsters. Those, you need a ladder to see into it dumpsters, And so we're like, okay, hey, maybe we can try and get them in here. Incidentally, this dumpster is full. Like, I can see chairs sticking over the top. This thing's about 15 feet tall. And I can see stuff sticking out of the top of this. So we've got a bunch of heavy boxes, got to try and get them up there. And we're like, okay, well, we've got to drive all of this trash from one end of the parking lot over to where that stuff is, about 5 or 6 boxes at a time. Oh yeah, did I mention I have a partner working with me? And yeah, he's none too thrilled. He was not too thrilled when we were just flattening out boxes, because in so many words, that's not our fucking job. It's not. We're floor cleaners. And on occasion, in this particular occasion, we're janitors. We're not garbage men. But, they're paying us to pick up this mess just because it's on their property, I guess. So we got to pick up the mess. But fuck. We were none too thrilled. And it was just one of those cases where we can't say, hey, we can't do this because there are lots of options. And I'm sorry if my phone keeps buzzing and you can hear that. But fuck. We're having to load all of these boxes, however many we can fit at a time, into our van, drive over to the big construction dumpster. I don't know why I couldn't say dumpster all of a sudden. And then lift them up and hoist them into this big construction dumpster, and then drive back over to the pile of crap, load it up, rinse and repeat. Again, some of this stuff was like industrial stuff, like broken, boxes full of wooden nails that are, these boxes can't hold the weight. So we're having to, team lift and get all this stuff in there. And because we can't hoist those type of boxes up the 15 what odd feet up into this dumpster, we've got to drive all the way to the other side of the parking lot to the regular dumpsters and get them in there, just because, that's only a 5-foot lift to get into that dumpster. But we're just like, fuck. We're having to do all this stuff. And it's about 9 o'clock at night now, and it's dark and it's cold, because it's starting to be winter around here. Okay, it's autumn, but still, it's getting dark and cold, and it's about going into the 50s and 60s now, which I realize for some people in some parts of the country, that's warm. In other parts of this state right now where it's snowing, but in central Phoenix, 60 degrees is cold. So bite me. But we're out there having to do all this stuff and hoisting all this shit up and lifting big ass heavy fucking boxes over our heads. And then we still had to go do the janitorial work. Because, we stopped to do that first. That's kind of that. It fucking sucked. And it was one of the, it was just like, what the fuck? All we could do. And of course we were getting fuzzy looks because the security guard doing his rounds through the parking lot kept seeing us messing around with the dumpsters and throwing shit in there. And technically we're not supposed to be throwing shit in those dumpsters, but the guard didn't seem to give a fuck. But yeah, and like eventually I get questioned by the guard because I had to go out there after we got all the boxes up. I had to go grab some trash bags because of course there was loose trash and shit that fell out and all this stuff. And if I don't pick up all of the mess, then of course they're going to bitch about it. So we go and pick up all the mess, and the guard's like, hey, what are you guys doing anyway? I was like, oh, we're the janitors. He just never sees me because I'm normally there during the daytime. But they go, oh, yeah, we're the janitors over here. And they wanted us to clean up this mess. And all I could figure is that the guard thought that maybe because there's a storage place across the street, that maybe somebody emptied out their storage unit and just dumped it because the dumpster was full. Or my theory, personally, because it was all a bunch of the same type of boxes, but there was like home trash. You know, I've had my garage cleaned out before and called the junk haulers away to empty all my trash and shit out of my garage. And what they tend to do is take a lot of boxes and shit that you've got, and they'll cram it full of all your bullshit. So you have a bunch of your boxes and shit packed, so it's easier for them to stack into their truck. I know for a fact there is a junk hauler around the corner from this building. I personally suspect that somebody called the junk hauler, they never got to the dump on time to unload, and rather than leave it in their truck until Monday whenever they can go to the dump and unload, they just dumped it on the curb and drove off. They already got paid. What the fuck do they care? That's my personal theory. I could be wrong. But yeah, we end up getting stuck spending an hour-ish loading all this bullshit and chucking giant fucking boxes into these dumpsters when we're just supposed to be there to clean some bathrooms and go on with our fucking night. My partner was pissed. He was so fucking done, and we'd been working all day, and we were hungry. We'd been in since 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We didn't wrap up until almost 11. We were pissed. We were hungry and tired and cold and just wanted to fucking go home. And I'd been talking about Whataburger chili cheeseburgers in the morning, and so we were both hungry, but we didn't have time to take a break because just had so much bullshit to do. And then all that bullshit with the boxes, and we're just like, fuck this shit, I want to go home. But that's my Saturday. That Saturday, that also meant I didn't get home. If you remember from yesterday, mentioning how I had work, real work, and again, that's all the work I was saying. I also had podcast editing work to do. I was not able to start that last night because I got home so late, which meant today I had to do all of it. I had to scramble and get all of that done on a crunch. I was way later than I wanted to get that stuff turned in. Hopefully it'll get turned around for the second pass of edits that I can do in the morning and try and get it back to her so she can get that episode released on time. Yeah. Busy. This is just like a big continuation of my busy weekend. And incidentally, rewinding, because I'm just going back to the rest of the week between all the other stuff. I still seem to be having, if you are somebody who goes to the website for this, I do still seem to be having issues with the podcast website. I don't know why, but I didn't have any trouble yesterday. But when I went to go check things today, it started giving me trouble again. I had to refresh some stuff to get it to work, and now it's working again, but I don't know what's going on. So if you're having trouble getting these, or you go and click a link on Facebook or Twitter or wherever you find, and it gives you a weird message, or it doesn't take you to a page or something, let me know. Granted, at this point, I've been having to check the website every day because of uploading stuff. But If you run into trouble, let me know so I can try and get things turned around as fast as I can, because I want you to have the best experience. Granted, if the website's giving me trouble right now, you're probably not able to listen to this. But we'll see how that goes. Nevertheless, I am going to... You know what? Forget the music. I'm not going to use the music, because the music is tricky and it sounds weird. I'm going to do this good old-fashioned applause, and I will say, thank you for listening, and I will be back tomorrow with more random bullshit and maybe some questions, maybe some news, we'll see. But until tomorrow, oddballs, thank you, and good night.